Okay guys, it's Ange. So I just did a previous video, if you saw it, on the story of my nose, the story of my skin cancer and how it came about, and then like the weeks leading up to the surgery. So now I'm going to do a second video here on the surgery itself, how it went. Hopefully it'll help if anyone is facing the same thing. Maybe a little bit of information I think is always helpful. So I went with the Mohs surgery, the MOHS surgery, for my squamous cell carcinoma that was on the very tip of my nose. And that surgery was recommended so that they would take all the cancerous cells out at once, and then they look at those under a microscope while you are still there in the office, and that way they can bring you back in to take more if needed, so that when you leave that day, you have all of it taken care of and you don't have to worry about it. So that's what we did. So I went in and had that done. I had it done at a private practice dermatologist, which I was really happy with. I loved it that my husband got to be in the room with me. I don't know if that would have happened, I guess, at another clinic. But it was really, really nice for me. He got to sit like at the end. It was like a dentist chair that I was in, kind of, tipped back, and he got to sit at the end and he just rubbed my feet the whole time, which was really comforting to me because it was kind of scary. Like when they're working on your nose, like that's, you know, your face, it's painful. I mean, I shouldn't say that because you're very numbed up, but it's just kind of, it's scary. It's a lot going on. So it was comforting to have him there. So, had the procedure done. They numb the spot. That hurts. They're sticking needles in your face. It hurts to get that numbed up. But then after that, you don't feel anything at all when they're taking the stuff out. And for me, my spot was like maybe half the size of a pencil eraser. And then when it was all said and done, like the wound was like close to the size of a dime. So they take a lot more than you think they're gonna, or at least they did in my case, because maybe the spot that you can see, there might be underlying stuff too. So just be prepared for that. So they did the first piece of it, took out what they could see, and then I went in like a waiting room. And then the nurse or doctor, they look at the cells under the microscope, and they want to make sure that all the way around is healthy cells. So like all the cancerous cells are contained and totally surrounded by healthy cells, so that they know they're not leaving anything. In my case, they needed to have me come back in and take a little bit more, so they took another chunk. Then they look at that. At that point, they were satisfied that they had gotten it all. So then I had to go back in and have a skin graft done. And the way I understand it, that isn't always typical. For me, I had to do it because the spot, like I said, was on the tip of my nose. And if it would have been somewhere else, they maybe could have like pinched it together to like stitch that up. But on the tip of your nose, there like isn't enough skin to pinch it together to stitch up a spot that size. So they cut from up here like a triangle, and that's all healed. I mean, it was right there, so that's healed up. So they cut a triangle here, scooted that down, and like cut a circle out of it to patch the spot here. I should do another video of the finished product once I'm done with band-aids, but patch that up, and then right here where they took the triangle, they could just stitch that right up. That healed super quick, like in a week. So anyway, once that was done, that I would say the skin graft part was the worst part or the scariest part, because you feel, he's like, oh, you're gonna feel a little tugging. Yeah, it's weird, like they're loosening the skin off to like move it. I don't know, it was weird. So you feel like pulling in pressure. It wasn't pain, but just, you know. So there was that part of it. After that, I was sick for the rest of the day because I react to antibiotics and anesthesia. They make me sick. So I was sick for the rest of the day. After that, I was fine. Like I had nothing but Tylenol. Everything was fine. I think the next day I kind of laid low and just relaxed. I couldn't wear my glasses because they didn't want me putting any pressure on the nose that might cut off the blood supply or any circulation, because they wanted like maximum circulation to the area. So they did that. So I couldn't wear my contacts in case there was swelling. So that day and the next day I was just sitting there like blind, just kind of relaxing. Then after that, I was feeling good. I was kind of just back to normal. I did have to limit exercise. I couldn't, like, I'm just starting back to exercising. I couldn't, they didn't want me like bending over and having like any blood rush like to my face or anything like that. I had to be kind of careful with that, as well as lifting stuff for a while. But after that, it was just a matter of twice a day cleaning it, and my doctor recommended doing peroxide and then followed by diluted vinegar, which doesn't sting as much as you would think it would, and then gooping it up good with Vaseline, and then covering it with Band-Aids, and it has to be covered all the time. So I do that morning and night, so I'm switching Band-Aids twice a day. Otherwise it's always covered up. And so it's been a little over 8 weeks now, and they told me to keep it covered until it's totally healed, and then give it another week, and then take the Band-Aids off and watch it really closely to make sure that no scabbing occurs, because they want like total healing, like from the inside out, just really, really good healing with that skin graft. And then if any scabbing occurs, I need to quick go back to the Band-Aids. So I think I'm gonna try that tomorrow, and I'm kind of nervous about it. I've kind of gotten to like, my Band-Aids are kind of a security blanket almost. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm gonna stop the video here and do a third section on what has happened since the surgery, or what's kind of come of it, or what I've learned from the situation. A lot of it has to do with marching around the planet as an introvert with Band-Aids on your nose, which I tell you was not an easy thing for me for a while. So I will pause it here and we will wait for part 3. Hang on.